What's up, guys? Welcome to Cage Tag Counter. I am Connor. It's gonna be my preview show for UFC Fight Night. I think it was like 260 or something, some shit like that. UFC ESPN Plus 118. UFC Fight Night Perth. Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes. Pretty weak card. Not the best offering by the UFC, and that is being shown, I guess, by ticket sales for this event. Apparently the UFC are like slashing the prices way down to like $100 or whatever on ticket prices for like I don't even know what kind of seats. They're slashing the prices on tickets though, and yeah, the event is apparently not selling well. Going down in Perth, Australia. So yeah, I don't know. I guess not a lot of interesting guys from Australia on this card. I guess I mean, I guess there's no big name from Australia on this card. I think Carlos Ulberg is technically born in Australia, but I think he trains out of that city kickboxing team in New Zealand. I don't really know if they like claim him as his own or whatever. What I'm trying to say is there's no Alexander Volkanovski, there's no Robert Whitaker, guys like that. No big names from that region of the world, and yeah, it's clearly reflecting in the ticket sales for the show. But yeah, regardless, we're gonna go over the card here. Like I said, not too great. So, I don't know how deep I'm gonna be able to get on a lot of these fights here. It's definitely one of the worst fight nights I've seen that are outside of the Apex in quite some time. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh here. I mean, it is a fantastic main event, but everything else is just lacking. And before the co-main got canceled, but it was supposed to be like fucking Junior Tafa, I guess, or Justin Tafa or someone else. One of the Tafa brothers. I know Justin Tafa's on this card. Where's the Junior Tafa? I get him confused. Regardless, one of the Tafa brothers still on this card, but it was supposed to be the co-main event, and I think that got canceled. I'm not even entirely sure. Whatever, guys. Let's get into the whole video here. Before we do that, please remember to subscribe to the channel over at Cage Tag Counter. You're probably there right now. Like the video too while you're at it. Do all that good stuff. All right, let's get into it then. First things first, in your main event of the evening, of course, you got Carlos Ulberg taking on Dominic Reyes. Carlos Ulberg coming in at minus 250. Dominic Reyes coming in at plus 210. Fantastic main event. I mean, big stakes for the light heavyweight division here with this main event. Carlos Ulberg running an 8-fight win streak right now. Dominic Reyes, of course, went on a bad losing streak after that John Jones title fight. I believe it was a 4 or 5-fight losing streak. I think it was 4, in which he got viciously finished badly in a couple of them. And the Yuri Prohaska knockout, viciously bad. The Ryan Spann knockout, viciously bad. But Dominic Reyes really been able to turn it around, bounce back here on a 3-fight win streak now, all by finishes as well, and coming off a very impressive performance in his own right. Let's hop back to Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg coming off a decision win over Jan Blachowicz back at the UFC London card from March 2025. So a bit earlier this year, getting a second outing in for 2025 here is Carlos Ulberg. Like I said, running an 8-fight win streak. It's very impressive at this light heavyweight division. I think Carlos Ulberg popped out on the scene, got brutally knocked out in his UFC debut, and has really been able to string together I think the longest win streak besides Ankalaev right now, light heavyweight, and it's been very impressive. Not been the most exciting fighter to watch in his last few performances. I think kind of the lower level guys he was able to knock out pretty easily, but then as soon as he cracked into the rankings here, he hasn't quite been able to put on the performance he needs to get him really into the title shot conversations where fans are heavily pushing him. And we'll see if he's able to do it here against Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes, of course, coming off that brutal knockout win over Kalaev. Why am I blanking on his name? Nikita Krylov. That's it. Coming off that brutal knockout over Nikita Krylov from earlier this year, as I was saying, of course, riding a 3-fight win streak. Before that was Anthony Smith. I forget who he beat, and one before that even. But like I said, running an impressive 3-fight win streak. Of course, most well known for almost defeating John Jones at I forget what UFC event this was on. 219, I want to say. Was it all the way back then? Back in 2019, I remember that. So, or no, it was 2020. I think it was pre-pandemic 2020. It was like February 2020. like right before the pandemic kicked off. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Most well known for the close decision, in which many people think Dominic Reyes was deserving of the win that night, was deserving of the light heavyweight championship when he fought John Jones, but alas, he did not achieve that. Many people, of course, think he did. Uh, and yeah, that's kind of what he's most well known for here. Hop back on with this 3-fight win streak now, and has kind of looked like the Dominic Reyes of old. Just kind of knocking out his opponents left and right, but probably his biggest step up in competition now. See, now we're getting back to the point where Dominic Reyes is in top 5 contendership here, is being discussed for potentially getting another title shot here, and he's kind of made his way back into that conversation. And I don't know if it's gonna be too much for him. I don't know what is the ceiling for this new and improved Dominic Reyes. I'm not entirely sure. I'm leaning towards Carlos Ulberg here, but I don't know, man. Maybe Dominic Reyes does got something up his sleeve. Maybe he is back to the guy that almost defeated John Jones. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if Dominic Reyes is truly one of the best light heavyweights in the world, or he's just been given opponents lately that are past their prime, which I think you could say that about all 3 of his recent wins. So I'm leaning Carlos Ulberg. I think it's going to be a decision. I again don't think we'll all be like screaming at the top of our lungs that Carlos Ulberg should get a title shot after this win. But I think it'll be a somewhat impressive performance, but he'll still probably need to fight someone else after this to even get a title shot, especially considering Yuri Prohaska and Khalil Roundtree are fighting next weekend, and that's sure as hell going to be an exciting fight. And if that ends up being better than whatever performance Carlos Ulberg or I guess Dominic Reyes are able to put on, they're certainly going to get a title shot, especially if Pereira wins again, because they're going to not try to give Ankalaev a third fight there. There's not going to be a Pereira versus Ankalaev 3 if Pereira is able to win. So yeah, if I guess all I'm trying to say is that the winner of this fight will more than likely need to fight someone else, considering the results of Yuri Prohaska and Khalil Roundtree. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Moving on to the co-main event, Jimmy Crute is taking on Ivan Erslan. Jimmy Crute coming in at -185, Ivan Erslan coming in at +160. So I'm talking about this card being pretty bad when this is the co-main. I know Jimmy Crute going to be a hometown favorite here. I don't know if he's from Perth, but whatever. He's from Australia. They will back their own here. Ivan Erslan, coming off a loss in his last UFC fight, is actually 0-2 in the promotion. I don't know. It's a terrible co-main event. Jimmy Crute coming off a nice armbar win over Marcin Petrino, I believe. And that wasn't long ago at all. I think that was on the Dustin Poirier retirement card in Louisiana. So Jimmy Crute turning around quick here to get on the Australia card. I think he's going to get it done here. Probably get it done by finish. I'm going to pick Jimmy Crute by TKO, probably like round 2, round 3. And then, of course, Ivan Erslan coming off a loss to Navajo Sterling, who is also on this card, who I find it strange they didn't make him part of the main card. He's headlining the prelims, but nonetheless, maybe that is a better spot for him. I'm not entirely sure. Ivan Erslan, as I was saying, come off 2 losses. No shame in his 2 losses, I guess. It's Ian Kuchelabre and Navajo Sterling are the 2 guys to be in, which are 2 pretty high-level guys, especially Navajo Sterling, one of the better prospects at this light heavyweight division. So we'll see. Maybe they made this co-main because it's also a fight at light heavyweight, and so is the main. And I don't know. Sometimes they like to pair those things together. Moving on then with the rest of the main card, Jack Jenkins taking on Roman Tavares. Jack Jenkins coming in at a -280. Roman Tavares coming in at +280. Jack Jenkins coming off a loss to Gabriel Santos. Roman Tavares coming off a loss to Davey Grant. I'm going to take Jenkins here. I think the hometown crowd's going to get behind him. And he'll probably pull out a decision win. Yeah, not too much else to say on that. I think it'll mostly be a kickboxing match, and should be a pretty fun fight. In your next fight, Jake Matthews taking on Neil Magny. One of the better fights on this card, I believe. Jake Matthews coming in at -410. Neil Magny coming in at +310. Jake Matthews on a hell of a resurgence here, coming off a 3-fight win streak now, just submitting Ninja Kwame just earlier this year. This fight wasn't long ago at all. Neil Magny coming off the win over Zaleski dos Santos, in which he TKO'd him. It was looking dicey, that fight, but then he really turned it around. Zaleski dos Santos ran out of steam in the second round, and Neil Magny was able to TKO him late in the second round. Yeah, I'm leaning Jake Matthews here. You know, every time you think though that Jake Matthews is looking good, and oh, this is finally a time where Jake Matthews is gonna crack into the rankings. It turns out he just runs into a wall, you know, and Neil Magny might be that wall. You know, it'd be a very Neil Magny type thing to do, to just stop the Jake Matthews hype train going on right now, and just completely put an end to that, and then get another shot at someone in the rankings, because that's what Neil Magny's done for like the last 10 fucking years. He's been the gatekeeper of the welterweight rankings for that long. So we'll see if Jake Matthews is able to get past this one. I'm gonna lean towards Jake Matthews, probably by TKO. I think he'll get a finish here, maybe even a submission. Probably second round, I would go with. Your next fight on the main card, Justin Tafa taking on Louis Sutherland. Louis Sutherland making his UFC debut here. That man got some craps on him. Jesus Christ, looked like the Hulk. Justin Tafa, of course, just the worst heavyweight of all time. God, I hate that he's even on this card. The man's like fucking 4-5 in the UFC. He's got like a 7-5 record overall. Whatever, he would absolutely kill me. So I should probably stop talking shit. He is coming off a knockout loss to Taliesin Teixeira, who we just propped up and gave him a main event spot immediately after that against Derek Lewis for no reason, and we all saw what happened there. This Louis Sutherland guy fought on PFL, fought on Bellator once or twice. Looks okay. I didn't do too big a deep dive into him. I know people are excited given the size of the man, but heavyweights suck, so fuck him. Next fight, Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. This should be a great fight, actually. Tom Nolan coming in at -148. Charlie Campbell coming in at +128. Yeah, this is one of the better fights on this entire card as well. Maybe not in terms of name value, but in terms of just pure violence, this'll do it. This'll fucking do it, all right. Tom Nolan coming off a win. I believe that was his second fight in the UFC. Charlie Campbell coming off a win over Trevor Peek from earlier this year. I do think Charlie Campbell will get this one done here and get an upset against the hometown guy, Tom Nolan. I think he'll TKO him. I think he'll catch him here. Charlie Campbell got them hands and he hits hard. Because my picks for the entire card, picks are in green. Method of which I think they will win is in parentheses there. And yeah, some decent prelims here. Andre Bertrowski on there versus Cam Roston. That should be an all right one. Colby Thickness back after that loss to Ilya Toporia's brother from earlier this year. Yeah, decent card. Like I said, Namajo Sterling as well. Also headlining the prelims. That should be an interesting one. For a pre-fight card rating, I obviously am not very high on this card, so I'm going to give it a 5.2. Pretty awful. Pretty awful. Not as bad as some Apex cards, though, but still. Especially for in front of a crowd, pretty awful. I don't blame the Australians for not buying tickets to this one. And that will do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.